All right. Well, good morning, everybody. We're so excited to have everybody out here for our first UPA Live of January. This month, we have the board answering your questions. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to ask everybody to mute your mics and go ahead and ask questions in the comment section, and then we'll bring up your question and let the board answer some questions. So before we do get going, I did want to see if there's any announcements that we wanted to make before we dive into questions. Anything that's coming up? I know we have voting on MIC right now. Are there any other announcements that are coming up? I think registration is open for Symposium.
Registration's open.
And yeah, they have a lot of information on the website. Go ahead and get registered, get your hotel block because those go pretty quick. I know that we think we have a couple hotel blocks to look at. So, but yeah, definitely get registered. I know last year there were some space issues near the end where those hotels got filled up. So go ahead and reserve those hotels as soon as you can.
We're staying mainly at Kensington, but we also have blocks at Even. And you should know that if you're like a sporty type, Even is sort of a like a like you'll get yoga mats in your room and like
Oh,
stretchy bands and stuff and like weights. So if that's like your jam because you're not busy enough at the symposium, you can stay in your room and lift weights, I guess, if you want to stay at Even next door.
that's pretty cool.
It's interesting, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah, register.
Yeah, and then like I say, make sure you go and vote. Lots have been really great this year. A lot of great competition, and I've loved seeing all the variety of images and ideas and styles and everything like that. So go ahead and take care of that. Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. So go ahead and let's have the board go ahead and take turns and introduce themselves, where and also what university you're at.
Sure. My name is Sydney Scott. I'm the president and I'm at Boston University.
I am Mark Carivou. I am your vice president slash temporary treasurer at the moment. Um, and I'm with Elgin Community College.
I'm Jason Halley. I'm with Chico State in California, and I am serving as the secretary and transitioning to the treasurer from Mark. Just one little tip for everybody, since I don't know how your view is on Zoom, but I found out that underneath everyone's picture, the three little dots gives you an option to add a pin to who you're viewing. And if you want to put us board members in the pinned set, you can add all of us in that space.
Hi, I'm Derek Eckenroth. I am the chair for the website.
I'm Kristen Grace. I'm your corporate relations chair and symposium planner co-chair.
I'm Chris Lowe. I'm at George Fox University in Oregon, and I am membership chair, I guess. I'm new here, so we'll see how it goes.
Nate Edwards, I'm at BYU, and right now I'm doing surveys and anything else that I can do to help out with the time that I have.
Catherine Seegers, I'm at Kennesaw State, chair of social, and I'm taking over comms for Jason. And yeah, I'm newer than even Chris, so yeah.
All right. And again, if you have any questions, that's what the chat box is for. Go ahead and ask your questions. So far, there's no questions. So if anybody wants to raise their hand or who wants to get us going?
There's no questions. Does that mean we can go eat lunch?
That seems like what people want to do.
Thanks for
There's
coming,
Oh,
everybody.
hey, I got a great question to start us off. Shay, this will be my first ever UPA symposium. What advice do you have for someone who's going for the first time? Who wants to take that?
I'll say something. Uh, First of all, thank you for coming. That's so awesome. I was new once, and what I would say is like just meet as many people as you can. Just I'm kind of nervous about meeting new people, but these when you realize that these are your people, it changes a lot about how you interact with everybody. And I would just say dive into everything you can. Don't sleep. Network. Uh, just hang, talk, ask questions. If you come from the commercial side of the industry and you've been working freelance, you'll find that the vibe The information flow is a lot different here. There's not a lot of gatekeeping. And just if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask it. Just meet people. You don't even talk about photography sometimes, and just meet people. Get out there. Come say hi.
I'll echo that. I'm the type of person that I am totally fine sitting in the back corner of a room and just observing. I feel very comfortable there. I think that's probably why I'm behind the camera. Maybe a lot of us feel that way. I don't know. But man, some of my most cherished memories and friendships have been when I've intentionally pushed myself to go and talk with people. And man, I like this is such an awesome group. I have so many dear friends here, and it's because I tried to put forth that effort to just put myself out of my comfort zone and just talk with people and get to know new people, sit at new tables every day, or just hang out with the same, especially first time, maybe just hang out with the same group or something, meet some friends, and just take it all in. Network. It'll be awesome. That'll be super exciting.
And if you're
Let me
worried
ask you,
about one more thing
right?
real quick, like when you're looking at the schedule and it's overwhelming, like just pick something and go. Just go to as much as you can. Just pick something and go.
I'm going to ask you, what is something you shouldn't do for your first symposium? Like, I personally would say, don't bring too much equipment. I usually at symposium, I take a break from my equipment and just kind of enjoy, one another's company. But it's nice to take a break from the 50 or 100 pounds of gear. But yeah, what do you guys, any other suggestions, things you shouldn't do or recommend not doing?
Don't sleep. Don't go back to your room just because you're a little tired in the evening. Like, take advantage of those like social times, even if we're not the most social of individuals. That really helps because that's when you get to talk and that's when you realize like we all have the same problems, we've all faced the same challenges, and we get to chat. I also support the eat lunch with different people each day. That's actually how Kristen and I met at my first symposium was at lunch. We sat next to each other and been friends ever since.
Yeah, and be welcoming to other people too. We often have about, I think we average honestly about 40% of attendees are first time attendees. Like I feel like the last two symposiums, that's been sort of so other people are nervous too. And I actually have the opposite take to Catherine. Like, know yourself. If you're tired, just go to bed. Like it's fine. Like it's okay. So it really depends on, who you are and how you want to roll with it. But there's always going to be somebody to talk to, even probably in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, one thing I always notice about new members, they never really know exactly what hospitality time is, and they don't usually go. Hospitality time you'll find is just as valuable as the rest of the conference itself. That's when you really get to network and meet people and get some of your questions answered. And if you're an introvert, it's a safe space for introverts as well. We love everybody.
Yeah, and I would
And
just add, as far as don't feel like an imposter. As the first time people amongst some of the greatest photographers here, you may have that feeling of like, I don't belong here. And that's not true. If you're a member, you definitely belong here. You're part of us. We have so much to learn from each other. And the fact that I can come up to some of the best photographers in the game and have a great conversation, they're super helpful, they become friends. Like there is no intimidation here at the organization. So be involved and keep connected.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, I'd say too, just don't be afraid to talk about challenges you're facing back in your situation. And you'd be surprised how many others in the group have experienced those same challenges or have really helpful insights on how to tackle some of those things. I've learned so much about how to, interact and protect my position and just talk through some challenging things really just by engaging with members at symposium. So.
Really good. Okay, so I have this question from Matt. What would the board say is the number one priority you're dealing with at the moment? That's a great question. Who wants to take it?
I feel like that's a question that I should answer. It is a really great one because I feel like we have quite a few things going on. I feel like one of the things I'm thoughtful about lately, although I wouldn't say that it's a challenge that we're taking on, is concerns about member employment and concerns about the stresses that our members are experiencing as a result of challenges that their universities are having. We can't do anything about that. But it's something that I know I'm concerned about and am sort of thoughtful about how we can support our members. And the answer is really to just keep doing what we're doing and what we've always been doing is being there for our creative folks and photo and video, whatever that might be. But I feel like maybe, and board members, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe sort of the task of the moment is making our way through the competition survey and sharing that information in the coming weeks with the members and figuring out next steps if there are any. I feel like that's probably the major one.
And I would say one thing as well, in addition to that, I know there's been a lot of feedback about transparency with the board and kind of understanding or getting a feel for what we're doing, what we're working on, and kind of behind the scenes. And I think Sydney pushing this is one of the ways I think we're trying to one of the avenues we're trying to do that with is have this open forum question setting. So it's like, hey, you guys can ask us anything, and we're more than happy to talk about it. Like I don't feel like there's anything secret we're doing behind closed doors, but we're more than happy to talk about what we're doing as a board within within the things that we can talk about publicly at the moment.
Says it's not a secret, then makes it sound secretive.
Yeah, that sounds a little secretive to me. So just to follow up on that, I think a lot of people, especially when they're new members, like they don't understand what they're allowed to ask or how to contact. Like, what do you guys prefer? Are you guys okay with people emailing the whole board, or would you rather them email somebody that's over a specific chair? What's the best way for people to give feedback to you?
I think the smart thing to do is to figure out sort of what your topic is. And then when you go to the leadership page, you can figure out specifically who can answer that question for you. That's probably the smartest thing. You're welcome to email all of us, but if it's membership, we're gonna send you over to Chris specifically. We're not all gonna respond to that answer. I think a lot of people, Jason, message secretary, which is also another way to do it.
I pushed everybody to communications actually because it was that email that all came out through the communications channel, which Catherine is taking over. So she'll be getting the communications responses. But yeah, I mean, kind of as Sydney said, it's like, so we also have certain roles that we play and certain areas that we kind of focus on. But we all communicate as a board all the time. We're connected on different communication tools with us to talk amongst each other about the issues that come to our forefront. And then we also meet monthly as a board to kind of discuss the issues and make sure that we're adjusting to certain things. And there is a bit of a learning curve. Obviously, we have new board members on that are stepping into roles, and they're determining how to make it their own role in what they're doing. So things take time. That's the biggest thing I've learned here on serving on the board is that a lot of these things that we think, oh, that's a simple thing. Actually, there's a lot more involved to that behind the end as far as the cost or paying for it, the steps, or even the technical limitations of what we currently have that make it challenging to achieve certain things. And I've had to learn to be patient, knowing that certain things will take time. But even that being said, don't feel that we as a board are not communicating or we're constantly kind of evaluating things, making adjustments, and trying to improve stuff as we learn too.
Yeah, and along the lines of patience, I agree with that. Like, I feel like personally, when I'm going through and making decisions in my life, like I like to do them like very intentional and quick, but recognizing, look, we all have full-time jobs still. And so when we come together as a board, like, no, we're trying to do everything we can as quick as we can and in the best way that we can. But yeah, things are going to take time. We meet once a month. And so you may email us with a concern or a question, and yeah, just know we absolutely hear you. But also know that things take time. And with an organization that's growing like this, it's going to turn on slower wheels than faster ones.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that a little bit, Nate. Like you mentioned there at the end, the organization is growing fast. And those of you that are on Facebook and see those new member announcements, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's a block of names that have joined each month. So yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. And we really are thoughtful in trying to capture everybody as members into the decisions that we're making as a board.
And
Really good.
I
Go
do
ahead.
feel like in our answer we're not giving specifics. And so I just looked up our minutes from our last meeting, and I think we went over 10 different topics of things that we needed to discuss. We talked about an issue with the website that needed correcting, a way we needed to touch base with our new video producers and their responsibilities, a video that needed to get done, a space that needed to be rented, a discussion about buses and whether or not we're going to use them at the symposium, safety issues, the treasury and how we're going to move that over. We are incorporated in the state of Michigan, and every year we have to file paperwork. Our lawyers, yes, I am throwing them under the bus, screwed up our paperwork. So now I'm backtracking and amending it and making sure that gets done. And then I got to go to the bank and da, 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 da. So when we say, oh, we're not really working on much, there's a little bit of like, we don't want to bore you with this like list of stuff. But do know that if you're curious, we do have a summary of our minutes every single month. And if you're like, hey, what do they do for 90 minutes? Because let me tell you, we often run over 90 minutes. I've said this before, so I don't need to be redundant, but we often go over 90 minutes. And it's not because I'm talking about my dog Harlow. It's because we are like going through stuff that's UPA related. So there's not a lot of like gabby going on, although sometimes the minute summary is always really funny. Like the first one we did started with like Jason is having car trouble and is grateful that it's not a problem anymore. So sometimes that's very funny, but it's very minimal. And do know that if you're curious to see a little bit more, you are welcome to ask. And then if you have questions that come out of specific things from that, you are welcome to ask us. So sometimes when we're asked a question, I mean, I hate to say that, but there's often like so much that I don't know where to start with the answer or what that answer might be that's helpful. So anyway, just wanted to share that.
Well, I think the best answer you have given is that if there is a problem, it is the lawyer's fault. So we'll just
100%.
well, that's good. All right. So this is an interesting question from I believe Ariel, and if I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sorry. My name's Jaron, and I'm used to it. I've been wanting to go to the UPA Symposium for years. I don't think I would get approved to go to multiple times and want to make sure I'm going to the closest location. I know the location for the following year is announced in the summer. Is there any chance the location for the next year would be shared even privately? And I know that you might not be able to answer that, but maybe the question is what is your philosophy when it comes to rotating locations?
Want me to take that one?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. We can't, it's not a secret where the next location is, but they have to sign a contract to like officially agree that they're doing it. So I'm not going to divulge that just because if they end up that they're like, nope, we can't manage it. We're not going to do that to them. It is in the Midwest. As far as, where we go year to year, we ideally want to know 3 years out where we're going to be. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes there's budget cuts. Sometimes the person who wants to host it switches jobs. And so now they're not at the university where they were hoping to be. So as far as the philosophy of where we want to go, we love the idea of moving around a lot. We love the idea that we can give our members an opportunity to like check out the West Coast, check out the South, go to the Midwest. But it really is determined by what members in the organization are willing to step up and host. So I think it's a really great experience. It's a great exposure for your campus. Stephen can speak to that. I'm going to make Stephen talk. I'm just kidding. You don't have to. Because it was so amazing. But totally lost my train of thought just then. So I'll just stop talking. But we ideally want to move it around a lot because we are growing so much across the country. There was a period of time where we felt like being central was a lot smarter because it was easier for everyone to get to. Now that we are more widespread, I think we are more open and excited about the idea of having it in various coasts as much as possible. But it is dependent on who hosts it and who's willing to do that.
Yeah, and I would add that if you want it close to you, you should volunteer to host. It'll be really close to you.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that since we're talking about it. If you have any inclination that you may want to host, talk to a board member. Just because you talk to us and want to ask a few questions doesn't mean we're going to hold you to it. But you'd be surprised that you'd be able to host. So don't be shy.
Yeah, and I've hosted multiple times. It's a great experience. It's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding, and the board does carry a lot of the load of the planning with you. So, but yeah, definitely look into that. Okay, next question. Well, first of all, Abby said that she loves the update and seeing the captions when previewing the images in the MIC in the grid view. Our creative group was literally just talking about how nice it'd be when it showed up in the next MIC, and I know that's a good suggestion. But her real question is any initial insights from the competition survey, and is it closed?
I can take that. So yes, the survey is closed. We had, I think it was 133 people respond to it, which is it's a decent amount. We were hoping to get at least 100 people participate in it so we could get a good feel for different thoughts and insights and opinions and concerns or whatever it is across the whole membership. We will be within the next coming weeks, we'll be sending those survey results out. And with that, it's really interesting. I'd say, unless you have specific questions, overall, there are some things that we will be looking into to see if we need to tweak specific things. Overall, it seems like most people have been relatively pleased and good with how things have been going. Again, that being said, we're still in process of analyzing all the data and looking at it. One thing to note is when we get the results, when the results are sent out, the comments and the data are different. And so keep in mind when you are looking at the data and looking at the comments side by side, it's more people comment when they don't like something rather than when they like it. And so the data will show 90% is pleased with this. The comments will show the
Here's
opposite.
everything that's wrong with it.
Yeah. And so just keep that in mind when you're looking at those things, that the data doesn't necessarily match the comments, but there is some really, really good feedback in the comments. And some things like that we didn't even realize. Like, for example, there was some wording on the website for the MIC competition, and it's like, well, these things, specific things were hidden. I don't even know where to look to see what entries. Like, oh yeah, we go and look at the website. We're like, yeah, that is not clear at all. And so those were some things that, we've fixed already. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question at all.
Well,
But
and Nate, this is the first time we've ever done a survey specifically for competitions, right?
yes, and it was pretty large scale. So it was for every competition that we have. And yeah, this is the first time that we've done a, a survey on all of the competitions. Yeah.
And I would just add that I think the best way to give feedback is to participate in the surveys. I know that whenever I planned a symposium, I relied very heavily on the previous year's survey about the symposium to try to make improvements, to listen to suggestions, to come up with class ideas. So please take advantage of the opportunity when a survey comes that you let your voice be heard, because that data is so valuable to the leadership in making these decisions for us.
Yeah, the biggest thing is if you aren't happy with how things are going and you don't take a survey, you don't have the right to complain. Because we can't hear your voice if you don't let us know.
That's how we vote, is we take the survey. Okay, here's a great question. What ways would you hope to see members contribute to the UPAA more? Who wants to take that one on?
I mean, I could just make a quick mention that I would, for us, it's like we have a lot that we look at and different perspectives. And so honestly, there's not like any specific thing. A lot of times there then becomes too many cooks in the kitchen. So really it's just but share your voice, communicate with us, reach out to us. If you see something that you would love to see improved or worked on, and we can kind of like let you handle that, let you take that on. That's where it's best utilized, as opposed to, well, I'm just here, where do you need help? If you can bring a specific issue that you would want to see improvement on, we can kind of put you into that realm to improve that area.
And adding to that, I feel like anytime anytime you have an opportunity to learn something new and you think, oh, this could be interesting for the whole organization to learn about, whether it's a UPAA Live or like, oh, that could be an interesting speaker, that could be an interesting presenter at the symposium. Don't look at it like, oh, I don't, my opinion doesn't really matter. They're not going to want to know about that. We absolutely want to know that. If you've observed something or someone who's taught you something and you think it can teach others, if you have something that you feel you could teach to somebody and anybody in the organization, let us know. Like, you could be a great breakout. If you're a shy person, we can pair you with someone. Whatever, like, just share things that you're learning with us. It's sort of the vibe of the organization anyway, that we're sort of info sharing people, and don't hesitate to do that.
So who is over the mentorship program?
That's myself, Lindsay. Actually, it's more Lindsay and Chris.
Could you maybe talk about that? Because I think that's one great way for people to contribute.
Yeah, that and Creative Partners is really great. Chris, do you want to answer it or do you want me to?
Sure. You guys are saying
Go ahead.
all of the things I was going to say. And I am transitioning into this position. So I lean on Lindsay a lot when I have questions about stuff. But as the guy who just showed up and said, I'm here, how can I help? And has major imposter syndrome, I'm all of the things Jason's telling you not to be. Just show up. Be here. Somebody a long time ago in my life introduced the thought of bringing community to me, and it took me a long time to understand what it means to bring community, to provide community, and it looks like a lot of different things, but bring yourself and what you have, and maybe you don't know what that is, to this community, and you will add to it. I promise. Whatever it is, just come and be willing to be open to just party with us. And as far as I was going to say, get in a creative group. One of the things Creative Partners Society of Creative Nerds. I'm saying it wrong.
Let's get this right, please. Society
you.
of Creative Partners.
Okay.
Thank you.
Get into a group, Society of Creative Partners group.
How do people do that? How do people sign up? How do people get involved in that?
Meredith.
So I can speak that directly. I am not on the board, guys. I am a chair member. Society of Creative Partners is in its second year. If that was something that I came to, I think the board saying, hey, I want to do this, and I did it. We have about 10 groups right now that are between 5 and 6 photographers that meet hopefully monthly. They run independently, but it's kind of this conversation for an hour a month. If you have interest in that, I'll drop my email. Yeah.
Great.
And that's a great way to get involved. If you have experience that you want to pass on, if you have no experience and you need some, and everywhere in between, which kind of dovetails to the mentorship stuff too. Again, I'm new to the role and I'm being transitioned into it, but I would say, like, I didn't want to. I loved the idea of a mentorship being part of the UPAA DNA. I loved that idea, but I didn't want to do it. And I finally was like, well, I should probably do it. And I volunteered to be a mentor, and I have excellent conversations with my mentee, and he just got a new job at a new university. So we're celebrating together, and we're going to see each other digitally on Saturday. So like we're even taking time. He's like, my new job is so crazy, I can't talk during the week. Great. Saturday. I still don't know what I offer him, but we're having these great conversations about work and getting to know each other as people, not just photographers. So it's a great way to connect in a very small, granular way to the group, um, and it's pretty great. So if you have experience, share it. If you need experience, ask for it. That
Yeah,
sounded weird, but you know what I mean.
but that's the whole point of this organization, right? Like we are university photographers and we have a very specialized job. And whenever we have a symposium, you're in a room with the only people in the country that do your job. That is an amazing opportunity that you can learn from other people that are going through the exact same problems you have, the exact same challenges, the exact same joys and successes. We need to share that. And I think really what's interesting about our organization right now is there are so many people that are in the 1 to 5 years of employment range, right? And we see that with people coming to Symposium. They've come from other fields into university photography. They're just getting into it, and they're like, I need help with digital asset management, or I don't know how to deal with scheduling. Like, how do you manage equipment? We have people that have been doing it for a long time, or even for a few years, that can be invaluable resources to them. So we do need to find a way that we can share. I think Facebook is another way. Be active on the Facebook group, help answer other people's questions, ask good questions, and develop these relationships because we need each other.
Yeah, I dropped a link into our exposure page, the Depth and Field blog, which Meredith also coordinates. But that's if you're a content creator, if you're a writer, you've got experience to share, a technique that you want to share. I mean, that is a great space to engage with members. And I don't know, there's some amazing stories there. I mean, the quarterly narrative results were just posted there, and some of those videos are just, if you've not seen them yet, they're just amazing. So that's another way to get involved. And then, running for the board. Anyone here that's a member can run to be on the board. And I've been on the board for a year now, and it's taught me so much. I have learned so much about myself and about my abilities, both as, an employee here where I'm at and as a UPAA member. So don't be afraid to step into a leadership role as well.
Yeah, and I think that's great, especially, it's very easy to write an article and share it on the blog, and that's something that you can take to your bosses and show, hey, I'm a part of the community, I'm helping, I'm leading, and that's a great opportunity. Thank you for sharing that.
And then I just want to iterate
Please.
one additional leadership opportunity that is not so, oh, it's the board, is also starting in the chair roles. If you look at the leadership position, we have some incredible chairs that help us tremendously in so much of our efforts. And it gives them a focus of expertise they want to work through and work on. I'm sure all the current chairs would love additional help in their roles as well. And some of us on the board have chair responsibilities that we would be happy to kind of transition someone into that position if you feel like you want to be more involved in the direction of the organization without taking on the full responsibility and commitment of a board position. Stepping into chair roles is a great avenue to find, is there an opportunity there in an entry leadership role?
Now, do any of the chairs also need some assistance, people that can help them with projects?
Yes. I was kind of looking at Meredith, but she always is looking for help. She can have others who add to her benefit. I think Catherine doing the social content could, all benefit. Like we all can benefit from having a partner to help us out in the roles that we play. So absolutely.
Yeah, and as far as social goes, if there's something that you're really into with social and you're like, hey, I have this great idea, let me help you with this one area, absolutely reach out. I'm always looking for new content, fresh content, getting connected. I mean, we have to feed the beast, right? That's basically what we do.
Awesome. Okay, quick question from Glenn, and this can be an easy answer. What's the current financial health of the organization? I'm sure he's asking that because he's glad he doesn't have to worry about it anymore.
Well, I could take that. Considering I just got done doing a little financial summary for us. We're really good. We're sitting really, really well. We're very healthy as an organization. We We finish every year in the black, which is good. This, last year was no different. Some people do wonder where our funds are spent at. And when you pay your dues, things go for like website improvements, hosting, awards and competitions. We also pay insurance, legal, and compliance needs. Uh, some of it goes to board meeting travel and communication tools, administrative tools, all the little things that we need, use to just keep the organization running. Uh, we have a nice surplus with a good speakers fund, and I don't know what else more to say. We're just doing really, really well financially.
And then every year there's a report that people can get to. Is that in the summer or when is there's the financial report? It's part of the business meeting, right?
Yes, we usually do that part of the business meeting when we can, but Meredith is doing a great job right now with our contact sheet, and it's going to look more like an annual report this year. So you'll see some of the financial stuff in that as well.
So Stephen Bridges did suggest that we maybe dock the lawyer's pay. Just throwing it out there. But
One thing I'll add to that is, you guys, if you want to make money, switch your job to be a web developer.
Yeah.
Because what we've learned is websites are built to break. And if you want to make money, be the one that makes a website that is meant to break, so you have to keep paying to get it fixed all the time. So there's my little tip.
The business plan, I like it. Okay, so our next question, what is our current spread of universities? Do we know what percentage of universities that we have UPA members at? That's a good question.
That feels like a question for the membership chair. Anybody want to take that?
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is Glenn here. Hopefully I'll have that in a second. So talk amongst yourselves.
Well, there's also following up with that question, what are methods we're using to organize the organization to other universities that don't have members? And what can we do? What are we doing? What can we members do?
Definitely word of mouth. I mean, when that question came in of, how can we contribute to the organization? Definitely brag about us. Let others know that we exist.
Can we make an assignment to members that you're in charge of your state? Go get them.
I would love it.
You have a quota.
Chris would love it too.
Yeah.
I could tell you a few of the things that I've done over the years. I love going to different colleges and universities. And when I travel, I usually find if there's anywhere near there. I'll go to universities sometimes and I'll try to find the photographers on campus and I'll go talk to them. I also find other organizations where I see that they have one of them, NCMPR, it's National Council on Marketing and Public Relations. I always look at who's winning awards in the photography competitions for those schools, and then we try to contact them as well to become members.
And don't forget videographers too. I mean, we've got a growing cohort of video members and hybrids. So, don't just strictly stick to photographers too, just to add to what Mark was saying. Yeah.
So maybe start at your own university, find all the photographers and videographers, invite them, and then reach out to your region and your state. Because it's the thing is I can't believe how many times I've been told, I wish I would have known about this resource 10 years ago. I wish I've never heard of this group. How come nobody told me? Well, that's on us. We got to help because we actually have relationships with these other institutions and we can help those people get to be a part of the organization.
But we are not, to answer your question, I think, Abby, we're not doing any paid placements or anything that I know of anywhere to get our name out. But I was going to say to Glenn, if Glenn is able to pull numbers up about the percentage of universities that have members, he is a magician because I know that out of the however many universities are in my state, I only know about a third of them, and I know that only 2 others have photographers. University of Oregon is one of them. So I would say that there's probably more universities than we have members nationwide. I don't know how else to answer that unless Glenn comes up with something.
Well, I would say that Samantha Chow has mentioned that since joining last year, she's recruited 4 from her university to join. So if anybody can beat that, and then
Maybe
Aaron
we
has
need to
said,
create a new contest.
yeah, well, Aaron has said, I know a lot of photographers have apprehensions on joining UPA. What do you say to them?
I'd be curious to know what their apprehension is.
He said sports specific.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if that came through, but like, and I just want to jump in because I've seconded that. Like when you have a very narrow group focus, that's it.
So I will say there are a lot of incredible sports shooters in this group. We've got how many sports categories you can enter in the MIC, and just speaking from a place where I work at a natural history, so I'm very, very niche. The type of photography I do is very different from the photography of most of our members. I work strictly at a, natural history museum. So it's science and research and personal vision are about the only 2 categories that I can enter. And so it is hard. But I think there's a really good sports photography presence here among this group, and just showing the winners of the MIC and the blog and the postings there, I think it's a pretty great space.
Yeah, I would add to just what Kristen was saying. Send them to the website, our website. Have them look at the past winners of all the sports contests. I'm pretty sure they'll be overwhelmed at the quality of work and realize that there's a space for them here.
Not to mention whether you're sort of niche or general, you're going to get something out of it. You're going to get a lot out of it, quite honestly.
Yeah, everybody, there's plenty to apply at all areas. I always, when I recruit people, I talk to them about, you need help with digital asset management. Here's your resource. And then I also pitch the competitions. Like, this is a way you can have a monthly competition. This is a way your students can have a competition and use it to get better. Those are the 2 things I use. But yeah, I wonder if there is a good way, if we had a really good link that was like a pitch link, we could just be able to send to our universities that we know in our state. That would be helpful to have something like that. It's just kind of an advertising link that would help just kind of very consolidate, like briefly explain what the organization is and the benefits of it. So, and I know that there is a join me page on the page, but maybe something that's a little bit more targeted in marketing. That's something we could look at.
I think it's worth mentioning too that we've got a direct line of connection, especially at the symposium, with our corporate partners. And our corporate partners, I mean, you can engage with like Nikon representatives, Canon, Fujifilm, Sony. I mean, they're all, representatives from a wide array of, pro photo. So like Jaron said, like, and Sydney too, even if you're niche, you're going to get something out of it by engaging with all of the connections you can make across the opportunities.
Yeah, I was going to say, just also I feel like I'm the only dining member still, being very niche. That to me, I like.
But you're the best dining member.
But I always look at it, no matter if it's sports or a totally different category. Like to me, I get inspired because then I'm sort of like, okay, how could I take something that maybe was done in a different category, but add that to what I'm doing somehow? Like, how can I, see if I can, get creative with it and still see styles that were used somewhere else, but somehow using what I'm doing. So I enjoy that, even though I'm kind of, niche as well.
Abby did share that it's also needed for video. She's pitched to the video team members several times and no one seems interested. And maybe we need something that's more specific to video. Also, in addition to that, Matt mentioned the university video producers Facebook group engagement seems to have fallen off a bit. Are those members part of the UPA Facebook group, or should the 2 Facebook groups be consolidated? That's a good question for whoever's over Facebook.
Is that me?
No, well, so there's a bit of history within that organization, and I don't know, Sydney, you look like you were going to be able to talk, but I know Glenn has a lot more dynamic. As we looked into, they came to us at one point to give a little bit of the history about looking at creating their own specific organization, and just realized through that process how difficult it was to set up an organization and how challenging it is to get everything in line that we had already done. And because a lot of our members had been shifting more to video involvement, and because we had started opening up video opportunities for those members, we've kind of found that a lot of that membership, and I don't know the numbers, I know there's a lot of people part of that or that Facebook group that weren't, there's no membership per se. But a lot of those members are part of the UPAA organization. So currently, I haven't checked in with them or been involved with their conversations, but I do know that they kind of hit a wall, realizing the extent of what it would take to actually create an organization for themselves. And because of the hybrid dynamic within our organization, and as we've explored it through the last several years, we've been benefiting from expanding our membership roles.
Very good. Okay, we still have time for another question or two if you guys want to pitch them in the chat, or if anybody wants to speak up and ask a question.
I just want to go real quick back to the question that Aaron brought up about niche, the sports photographers, and what do you say to them? And I just want to share that for me, it's like, I work in a niche region. There's not really a lot of campuses around us, so I don't really have competition in the role that I play in the school that I serve. And so my role feels very niche in a lot of ways. And I go, well, what benefit would I learn from other photographers if I'm doing the job myself? And the reality is that I do learn tremendous amount from different perspectives. And if I were not to have this group and organization to kind of see how somebody looks at things differently, then I'm not going to apply and expand my skills and abilities. I'm going to stay who I am in that moment if I don't expand my community. So being able to go and even from Darren to go, well, how do you do this food stuff? And then bring that into my work in some fashion makes me a different kind of photographer. It makes me a better photographer. To look at somebody who does, the artwork, in a certain region and go, well, what are your challenges that you go through? Those are all learning lessons that I can bring back to my own skill set and to increase my ability in how I apply to my work specifically in my realm.
Very good. And then Abby did ask, is there a benefit of having a public-facing Facebook page for UPAA?
If
Catherine,
I'm not
you wanna take that
mistaken,
one?
I was going to say, was that tried before and we had some issues with some spammers or?
Catherine can take that one, I think, about LinkedIn.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can answer the part about LinkedIn in her question. We do have a LinkedIn. It needs some love. If anyone's really into LinkedIn, let me know. I am all for collaborating on that one.
We need a
It is
LinkedIn
harder-
co-chair.
Yeah, I would love somebody if somebody is super into it, I will give you LinkedIn in a heartbeat. I got the Instagram's a lot easier, it's a lot more visual. But we use LinkedIn especially for stuff about the symposium, about speakers, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at with LinkedIn. But yeah, if you're into it, or if two of you want to take it, go for it.
Abby, you mentioned that you mentioned that you wanted to show that you're a member, but it sounds like you weren't aware that we actually have an active LinkedIn. Okay. Because I had
Maybe
a
we
moment
could
where I
share
was
that
like, does that
LinkedIn with the
mean you
group.
can't? Yeah, would you mind sharing that? That link, Catherine, that would be great. And then as for the Facebook page, I think a public-facing UPAA page would require a lot of management and a lot of oversight. And I love the idea of us creating a pitch link, and I think that's a really great start. I think that's a fabulous idea, both for video and photos. So Abby and Jaren, thank you for that. I think that's a great start for that to try and get the word out about us.
Yeah, and maybe even you could have a card you could hand to people with a QR code that gives them the pitch. So if you're like, oh, hey, you're a photographer, here you go. But yeah, we need to rely upon the members to share. That's going to be the best. Word of mouth is going to be the best way to reach the actual audience we want. University photographers are really hidden in university structures, and sometimes they're in marketing, communication, and all these different areas. But yeah, the people that are in their town and their state are going to have the best access to them. So let's make sure that we ask the members to help us with that. Going, gone. All right. Well, great. It's been great to spend time with you guys this afternoon. We will have another UPAA Live next month, and we'll be sharing the information on that really soon. And otherwise, we'll see you guys on the Facebook page. So you guys have a great day.
Well, Jared, before we
Yep.
go,
Yes.
I just kind of wanted to because I'm reflecting back kind of on the conversation a little bit. And if you look at it, kind of reflect back, like what are our priorities, that we're working with? Most of this conversation deals with, a lot of like, what are our members growing? How do we involve them, staying connected? Our competitions, evaluating that, improving that levels, and then the symposium, preparing for that, getting that situated. Those are always ongoing dynamics that we are always continually working on. And that typically becomes like the priorities of our given year. They're all very involved dynamics, but you can see just in the conversation questions that everyone was asking, they all fall in line with the priorities that we're working on.
And that's a great sign that we're where we need to be. So please, again, people participate. If you can help, share your knowledge, share your skills, share your time with the organization, and let's help each other get better. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. I do want to say one other thing, Jaren.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody else feels the shame, but just looking at you right now to see how meticulously lit you are, I mean, it just puts a little shame to the rest of us that didn't go through that effort for ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a visual
Thanks for nothing,
professional,
sir.
so-
Thanks for nothing.
Just ask them to zoom out.
Yeah, don't. You don't want to see the rest of the, selective focus. There's
a
a
reason
selection
he's on like a
process.
50 millimeter lens there.
I think we have our next UPAA Live, how to light yourself for Zoom.
I only look good at 1-2.
I'll take that as a challenge. I'll make sure to light it up for the next Zoom.
Okay, next month, you're on. See you guys.
See you.
Thank you.